Well, hello there. Welcome back to another video with Curly Mika. In this video, I will be answering some of your relaxer related questions. So recently, I put out a community post and I asked the question, what challenges are you having with your relaxed hair? And you left some questions, so I'm here to answer them. So stay tuned to see if I answered your questions. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section. So let's get right into it. And the first question comes from Shernet Brown. And her challenge is dryness and breakage, and the back grows slower than the front. So Shernet, you are not alone. For me personally, this side of my hair is usually thicker than this side. And in your case, the back section of your hair is growing slower than the front. So that is normal, and many persons have this type of challenge. So you're not alone. However, you can speed up the growth at the back, and you might ask how. So first, you can massage the back of your hair, that section that is growing slower, and that will stimulate blood circulation, which will also stimulate hair growth. Another thing you can add to that is to change your diet. So you want to include things that will enable your hair to grow nice and healthy. So you want your vitamin C's, your vitamin A, your B vitamins, your vitamin E, and all of that. And that will help to grow your hair. If you want all your hair to be on the same length, I'm sorry to say that what you will have to do is to cut the front section to meet the back section and maintain that while allowing the back to grow down so that everything can be on the same length. Yes, it will take time, but I guarantee you, Charlotte, that it's worth it. You also spoke about dryness. So I want to assure you that usually with relaxed hair, you are going to experience some amount of dryness. Now, I have been working with different types of hair for many years, and I've recognized that relaxed hair tends to be drier than natural hair. And one of the reasons for that is because of the disturbance that the chemical that we put on our hair causes. Yes, one of the side effects of relaxing your hair is going to make your hair drier than normal. For example, when your hair is in a virgin state, meaning that it has never been chemically altered, the cuticles are lying nice and close together. Once you apply relaxer to your hair, you are disturbing the hair natural makeup. So now your cuticles are open more than usual, which means that moisture is going to escape from your cortical layer out of your hair, thus making your hair drier than normal. So you want to incorporate in your hair care regimen moisture treatment. Now there are different types of moisture treatment that you can apply to your hair to help with that. However, you must keep in mind that protein treatments or highly protein products that we use on our hair to maintain it can also make our hair very dry. So what I want you to do, Charlotte, is to look on your products that you have at home and see how much protein is in these products that you are currently using on your hair. If it has 1 or 2 protein products, or protein ingredients rather, then that is okay. But if it has in a lot of protein ingredients, then of course you want to use those products like once a month, but you would not want to do it every week or every other week, because I'm not sure how often you do your wash day routines. So just ensure that you have a balance between your protein and your moisture, because the protein is there to add strength and the moisture is there to add pliability. And if you don't have pliability and you have strength but your hair is dry, then of course you're going to experience breakage. One of the disadvantages for me is that I'm not able to see your hair, Charlotte. I'm not able to touch it. I'm not able to have a conversation with you. So these are the suggestions that I made, and I hope that they are useful to you. So there were a few others that had similar challenges as Charlotte, and these persons were Kamisha. Kamisha said that she have dryness and breakage, and it's driving her crazy, and I can understand and I sympathize with you. We also had Elizabeth talks about breakage also, and Charlotte talks about dryness and breakage. So quite a few persons in the comment section talked about dryness and breakage. Another thing I want to add in regards to dryness is that you need to incorporate taking a lot of fluid inside of your body. So think about how much fluid are you taking in and what type of fluid are you taking in. Are you taking adequate water? And you can also add natural coconut water because these having electrolytes that is good for your body. So you want to look at what is it that you're eating, what is it that you're doing to your hair, and even your lifestyle. Do you tend to wear your hair out a lot, so it's blowing in the wind constantly, it's out in the elements, the sun, the breeze, and all of that? Those are some things that is going to cause your hair to be dry. So you want to have your hair in a little protective styles more often than you would have it let out. So now let's move on to Sandra. Now her problem or challenge is that the middle and the edges are breaking. Now for you, Sandra, these are called our stress point. So the middle section of your head is where our stress point is, and it can also affect your edges. So you want to think about your lifestyle, issues that may be happening to your life that is causing you to be stressed. So just think about it. Are you stressed? And if that is the case, that could be one of the main reasons why your edges and your middle section is breaking. Another thing that can cause your edges and your middle section to break is having tight ponytails. So if you're catching your hair up in one and you're putting the ponytail at the same section every day and you're pulling onto the edges, then of course you're going to have breakage at the edges and also in the middle section. So you want to think about that. I am not able to talk to you for you to explain to me what is it that you do with your hair on a daily basis. So I would not be in the best position to tell you exactly why those areas are breaking, but these are the possible causes why your edges and the middle of your hair perhaps is breaking. Your age can also be a factor. So as you get older, our hair changes, and one of the changes is that our hair decrease in density. And so at this point, depending on your age, your hair could be decreasing in density at the middle and at the hairline. For others, it might be different sections, but perhaps for you, those are the areas that are most affected. Of course, with everything, we can reverse it or slow it down by changing our diet. And the best way to change your diet is to remove processed food from your diet. So if you are able to go fully organic and only eat food that are not processed, then that could help to boost your hair growth and thus giving you back those hair on your edges and in the middle section. So I hope that this tip was helpful to you, Sandra. The next ear challenge comes from Leslie. Now Leslie says, keeping healthy ends, I will get my ends clipped on relaxer day, come out with full and blunt ends, and then they end up ragged by the next relaxer day. Now, the first thing I think of when I saw this challenge that you're having, Leslie, is how long are you stretching your relaxer? Because many persons do not know that when you stretch your relaxed hair for a very long time, it does affect the ends of your hair. So I'm not sure how long you're stretching your relaxers for, but that could highly be the reason why your ends are breaking. Because keep in mind, the new growth is much stronger than the ends of your hair. And so if you're tugging on the root all the way to the ends, you are going to experience some amount of hair breakage. And I can tell you that from personal experience and also from working with other persons here who have stretched their relaxed hair beyond what is necessary or appropriate for their hair type. So keep this in mind, Leslie. I want you to think about how long is it that you are having this breakage, and at what point do you have the breakage prior to your relaxer service. So if you recognize that you start to experience the breakage in the 8th week or the 10th week or the 11th week, then it means you would have to relax your hair before you enter the 10th week. So let's use the 10th week as a marker. So say, for example, you are having hair breakage in the 10th week, then you would want to relax your hair in the 9th week and thus prevent your hair from breaking. So relaxer stretching can be advantageous, but it's not in every case that it really is. And so I want you to think about how long are you stretching your relaxer for, because that could highly be possible the reason why. Also, you want to keep your hair nicely hydrated, especially during the weeks coming up to your next relaxer retouch, so that you can minimize or even eliminate hair breakage. So I hope that this tip was helpful to you, Leslie. If you're enjoying the video thus far, don't forget to give the video a like, and if you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for more hair care tips that can help you on your hair relaxing journey. Another hair challenge came from Miriam. Now, Miriam says, I started relaxing my hair last April after being natural for 8 years. Good job. My hair was beautiful and was shoulder length. I started learning how to stretch my relaxer to make my hair stronger. The stretch caused my hair so bad this year, I only made it to 13 weeks, and I realized I'll end up bald if I did not go to my stylist sooner. Long story short, my hair is now neck length. We had to cut it off big time because of the breakage and thinning. I'm so disappointed. I get you, girl. I almost chopped it all now, just wearing wigs, and still trying to figure if I go back natural or what to do with my life. So she says that she's unmotivated, and thank you for the compliment at the end, dear Miriam. So I understand what you're saying. So you had your hair for 8 years being natural, and now you have straightened your hair. Now, one of the biggest thing that I think has caused many persons their hair, as mentioned earlier, is stretching your relaxed hair too long. You have to recognize that you can't stretch your hair like Curly Mika or like someone else. You have to come up with what works for you, Miriam. So what I want you to do, Miriam, is to recognize at what stage or what week prior to your relaxing application do you start seeing breakage. Because if you're stretching your relaxer for too long, you are going to experience breakage, especially if your curls are very tight. Now, I am not aware of what curl pattern you have, but if your curl pattern is very tight, you do not want to stretch your hair for too long, because what will happen is that when you comb your hair, you are going to experience breakage. Now, for persons who have very loose curl, that is their natural curl pattern, they can go for a longer relaxer stretch than a person who has tighter curl patterns. So what I've seen is that some persons are following other influencers, and what they're doing is stretching their hair like that person. But you should never do that. Don't do the same thing that the person is doing in their video, because if you were to do that, it might not work out for you. So what you want to do is to develop your own hair care routine and to see at what point in your relaxer stretching is it that you are experiencing breakage. And what you want to do, Miriam, is to have your hair relaxed at that point. So for example, if 8 weeks is all you can go, then you would relax at 8 weeks. If you are able to go to 10 weeks, 13 weeks, as what you mentioned yesterday, went to 13 weeks the last time, and you experience some amount of breakage, it would mean that 13 weeks is too long of a stretch for your hair type. So keep that in mind. So if you are relaxing your hair when it needs to be relaxed before it starts breaking, you won't experience any breakage. And you don't have to worry that you're relaxing your hair too often, because you said that you're going to a stylist. And if you're going to a stylist and the stylist is following what they should be doing and not putting a relaxer on your scalp, then you would not need to worry that you're relaxing your hair too often. The hair is not the issue as it relates to relaxing your hair too often, is really the scalp, because that is where absorption can take place. So we don't want to be splattering the relaxer on our scalp, but we want to ensure that the relaxer is going directly on the hair and avoiding the scalp as much as possible. I know that some persons shy away from relaxing their hair in the 8 weeks because they feel that perhaps they're relaxing their hair too often. But you have to keep in mind that everyone here is different, and perhaps for your hair, the curl pattern, the texture you have to relax your hair a lot quicker than some other persons. So keep that in mind, and if you use this suggestion, I am sure that you will not experience the same breakage and you will see length retention, which I'm sure you will be happy for. Another hair challenge came from Dina J. And if you're not aware, Dina J does have a relaxed hair channel where she documents her own hair journey with her relaxed hair. So you can always check it out if you are not aware of her channel. So her challenge is texture problem. And for a lot of person, that could be the case. Now, when we talk about texture, we are talking about whether the hair is coarse, whether it's fine, or medium texture. Now, for most persons, you would want to have the medium textured hair because that is like a balance between coarse and fine hair, and it's like the perfect middle spot. However, in some instances, some persons have coarse hair, fine hair, or medium texture, and it could possibly be that you have all these different texture on your head at one time. So that could pose a challenge. However, there are ways to work around these different textures if you're experiencing this kind of situation. So what you want to do is to look at your hair and you want to diagnose the different texture that you have, and you want to section them off. So say, for example, you recognize that in the middle of the crown section here, your hair is coarse, you want to section that by itself. If you recognize that you have medium texture, maybe at the back, separate that by itself. And maybe at the sides, you recognize that you have fine texture, separate those by themselves. Because what you're going to be doing is treating those areas differently according to the texture that you have. Now, I know that it can be quite challenging when you have more than one texture sitting on that one head. And I've worked with persons who have had that challenge, and it takes getting used to. Now, I know that that can be a challenge, but listen to me, it will get easier as soon as you understand how each section of your hair respond with different products. On your relaxer day, you want to do the same thing. You want to section your hair in the same way. The coarse hair by itself, medium texture by itself, fine texture by itself, or maybe in your case, you might only have two textures. So you want to separate your hair in that way, and you want to apply the relaxer in the same manner. Of course, the coarse sections, you would apply the relaxer first, and then the medium texture, you would apply the relaxer second. And if you have fine texture there, of course, you will apply the relaxer to those sections last. And the reason for applying to the fine texture last is that you want to maintain the volume in the hair. So you want to leave a little bit of curl in it so that it can blend in with the rest of your hair. The coarser section of your hair, the diameters are much bigger, and so when the hair is relaxed, it's going to still have its body. Medium texture hair is the ideal texture here that most people would want to have, but not all persons have just medium textured hair. And so for those areas, you would do that when you're doing your relaxer service. For maintaining your hair, the same thing would apply. It would mean that the coarse sections, you could apply a little extra oil or a little extra moisture to those areas. But for the medium texture, you just want to apply maybe a little pinch of oil or pinch of moisturizer to those areas. And for the fine textured hair, perhaps you would only apply a light oil, or if you do want to apply moisture, then it would be such a small bit that you perhaps can't even see it when you rub it out on your hand, and you would apply it to that section. In that way, you would not be weighing down some part of your hair. So some part of your hair is nice and flowy, and then another section is tacky and not moving because you perhaps had the same amount of product that you had to the core section. So that is how you want to treat those areas. And once you develop a habit of doing that, it becomes easier and easier, and then of course you getting to know your hair is going to be even better for you. If you're enjoying the video thus far, don't forget to give the video a like, and if you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for more hair care tips that can help you on your hair relaxing journey.